Okay, so let's dive headfirst into something I think almost everyone learning a language bumps up against. You know the feeling, you've got the grammar down, maybe you ace the tests, you can write a pretty decent email, but then, boom, you need to actually talk to someone, and poof, the English just vanishes. We're not really aiming for that perfect textbook English today. Nope. We're looking for ways to hack the system, to find that, authentic, natural flow.
Yeah, that feeling, that, paralysis. It's perfectly captured in this story we have about a learner, Robbie. Knew hundreds of words, right? Got the rules sorted. But when a tourist just asks him for simple directions, his mind just went blank. Couldn't get a word out. And that single experience, well, it nails the difference, doesn't it? Fluency isn't really about being perfectly correct. It's fundamentally about comfort, confidence.
That distinction is it's everything, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
people hear fluency and they immediately think, oh, perfection, like zero mistakes, perfect accent. And that's standard. It's impossible. It's actually terrifying. It's a terrible standard, yeah?
Yeah.
Real fluency, the way we're talking about it here, it's being able to speak comfortably, right? Getting your thoughts out without stopping every 2 seconds. And crucially, accepting you'll make little mistakes. That's okay if the other person gets what you mean. Your English is doing its job. It's working. Comfortable communication, that's the goal. Not some kind of robotic perfection.
Okay, wow. That lifts a huge weight right off the bat. So let's set a baseline then. What does this comfortable communication actually sound like? Let's break down how native speakers really talk. All the shortcuts, the rhythm, the stuff textbooks just ignore.
Right.
And then, yeah, we'll get into those less traditional practice methods, the ones that kind of force your brain into that flow state. Right.
So starting with the basics. Classroom English versus, living English. You ever notice how textbook dialogues sound kind of stiff compared to movies or just people chatting on the street? That's because real conversation is, faster. It's more relaxed. It loves shortcuts.
It's that gap between formal writing and how people actually speak. You just don't hear people walking around saying, I'm going, or we will be there. Contractions are everywhere. Here, let's. They're automatic. Honestly, if you speak without contractions all the time, it sounds a bit unnatural, maybe even stiff, even if your grammar is technically spot on.
Yeah, it flags you as maybe like reciting something. And beyond just shortening words, there's this whole bunch of phrases that are like conversational glue, right? You kind of need these if you want to sound confident, blend in a bit more easily. We're talking simple stuff like long time no see when you bump into someone, or just what's up instead of always the formal how are you.
Exactly. And those really useful functional ones, like the universal agreement, sounds good, just easy. Or that simple way to say, it's okay, or don't worry about it, no worries. It's so common. Using these simple everyday phrases, it actually frees up your brain power, for the more complicated things you want to say.
But hang on, is there a risk there? Relying too much on those casual phrases, does it start to sound like you're maybe hiding that you don't know other words? Are they always glue or sometimes just crutches?
That's a great point. They signal informality, relaxation,
Yeah.
which is perfect for, social chats. But you've hit on something really crucial here.
Yeah.
You have to get good at switching between formal and informal. That's key. Formal English, it's polite, usually avoids contractions, keeps things a bit more structured.
Right. So like if I'm emailing my professor, I might write, I am writing to inform you. Very proper.
Perfect. Crisp, professional. But now imagine you're just texting a colleague you know well about the same thing.
Yeah.
That whole sentence just collapses, right? Because, hey, just wanted to let you know I'll be running late. See? The whole vibe changes. You got to practice that switch.
And that shift happens even in tiny phrases, like closing remarks. You go from a formal, I would appreciate it if you could handle this, to just a quick casual, could you handle this? That flexibility, knowing when to switch gears based on who you're talking to, that's a massive sign of fluency.
Okay, so the words themselves are different shortcuts, context. But how does that carry over when we start using our whole selves, our voice, our body? Let's move beyond just the words. Let's talk tone.
Oh, tone. This is maybe one of the trickiest bits for learners, because tone can completely change, even destroy, the meaning of your words. Take that classic example. Saying, I'm fine. Say it brightly, with a smile, means exactly what it says. I'm actually fine.
I'd say the exact same words. I'm fine, completely flat, maybe looking down.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're saying the total opposite. You're definitely not fine, right?
Yep.
But maybe you don't want to get into it.
Precisely.
It just proves you can be 100% grammatically correct and still completely fail to communicate what you actually mean.
And this is why we really push this idea we call the actor's tip.
Oh.
When you practice speaking English, Don't just say the words. You have to sort of act the words. Use your voice, your face, your hands. You got to inhabit the language, become the character speaking those lines.
Yes. Think about saying, oh, great, you're here. Right. Say it with genuine relief in your voice, big smile maybe. Okay. Now say those exact same words, but like with a deep sigh, maybe rolling your eyes a bit.
Totally different meaning.
Completely different. Same words. Learners need to practice performing the language, not just reciting it.
And that performance includes the whole body language package, which is just so important in English-speaking cultures. What are some of the non-verbal essentials we really need to nail down?
Well, smiling and making eye contact are baseline, really baseline. If you avoid eye contact, you can come across as cold or maybe disinterested, sometimes even dishonest, even if your words are super polite. And other little things matter too. Nodding shows you're listening, right? Leaning in slightly shows interest.
Yeah.
On the flip side, crossing your arms, leaning back, looking away, that signals boredom or maybe defensiveness. All this stuff feeds into how people perceive your communication, your flow.
Right. And those nonverbals often shout loudest when we're doing that thing some people dread, small talk. Let's maybe dive into some practical tools for making those connections.
Small talk.
Yes.
It's huge in English-speaking culture. And here's the thing. It's often not about exchanging useful information. Not really. It's a way to be friendly, polite, to break the ice. That's the idiom, right? The goal is just a smooth social interaction, not some deep philosophical discussion.
It's funny because in some cultures that might seem like a total waste of time. But here, skipping the small talk can actually feel rude or cold. That's a big cultural hurdle for learners, I think.
It really is, which is why you just got to practice the safe stuff, the predictable topics, the weather is classic. Looks like rain today, huh? Easy. Or weekend plans. Got anything fun planned for the weekend? Hey, even just a simple compliment works. Hey, I like your jacket. These are just door openers. They let a conversation start without needing complex words or strong opinions.
Okay, so the door's open. What's the next step towards sounding, well, more authentic? I guess that brings us to idioms. These things are like the personality of the language, aren't they? They make zero sense if you translate them word for word.
Oh, absolutely.
But they make English colorful. Interesting.
Totally. And if you hear someone say, wow, it's raining cats and dogs out there, you instantly know they just mean it's raining really heavily. Understanding idioms is essential just for listening comprehension. And then using them now and then, it's a shortcut to sounding way more natural.
And we just used one, break the ice. Perfect example relating to small talk, starting that friendly chat. Or if a test was super easy, you might say, that was a piece of cake.
Yep. Or remember, spill the beans.
Right. Tell a secret.
That's just a fun way to say it.
Yeah.
Using idioms gets you past that basic literal translation stage, makes your speech feel, alive, dynamic.
Right. Okay, so we've covered the contractions, idioms, casual phrases, and the how tone, body language. Now for the big shift, the mindset. And those practice hacks that actually turn language students into language speakers. This is where things get really practical, I think.
The absolute foundational shift, the big one. Prioritize listening, just like a baby does, right? Babies are immersed for months just soaking up the sounds, the rhythm, the intonation, long before they try to speak. You've got to let the sound really sink into your brain first.
And once you stop focusing solely on rules, you can tackle that huge friction point translating in your head, that habit, thinking in your native language, then searching for the English words. It's the #1 flow killer. Kills momentum. How do we break that habit?
You have to force your brain into English-only mode, but start small. Everyday things. Don't translate water or keys. If you want coffee, just think, straight up, I need coffee.
Oh.
Start with your inner voice, your internal monologue, even for really simple commands or thoughts.
Okay, and for people who maybe hate practicing out loud in front of others, there's this really clever technique we found. It suggests just talking randomly into a voice recorder about anything. Your day, what you bought, your dog.
This is such an insightful hack.
Yeah.
Because it completely removes the fear of being judged by someone else.
Right.
Right then and there. You can pause, you can mess up, you can restart, all in private.
Wait, but here's the genius part. When you play it back, you become your own coach.
Yes.
You skip the scary external judgment and tap straight into your own feedback loop. You'll notice your speed. You'll catch those tiny little words you keep forgetting, like at or in or to. And the goal isn't perfection, is it? It's just noticing your flow. Where does it sound smooth? Where does it get stuck?
But maybe the ultimate secret weapon especially for folks nervous about real-world interactions. Practicing silent conversations, like when you're waiting in line or on the bus,
Well,
look at someone nearby, doesn't matter who,
right.
and just imagine having a full English conversation with them in your head.
This is so smart because nobody knows you're practicing, right? But your brain, it's working. It's building sentences quickly, rehearsing questions, answers. Is the seat taken? Oh, nice weather today, whatever.
Hmm.
So the next time a real tourist does ask you something, your mouth doesn't panic quite so much because your brain's already run that simulation like dozens of times.
That's it. Panic to preparation.
That mental shift is huge.
And we've got some active drills you can start, like right now. First, response drills. Watch a video clip, maybe a movie or YouTube. Pause it right after someone speaks a line, and you immediately respond to them, out loud, as if you were in the conversation. So the actor says, "Man, I had a really bad day today." You jump in with, "Oh, really? What happened? Tell me about it."
Ah, so you're actually interacting, not just shadowing or repeating.
Exactly. It's active engagement.
Cool. That feels like real conversation practice. And what about training that rhythm and tone we talked about earlier, making it sound musical?
Right. Use music for intonation practice. Find some English songs, maybe ones with slightly slower, emotional lyrics where the feeling is clear. Listen to a line, pause. And then you try to copy everything, not just the words. Copy the rhythm, the melody of the speech, the emotion in the singer's voice.
The music of the language.
Exactly. When you copy that musicality, your speech starts to sound less robotic, more alive, more natural.
Love that. And one final piece of advice I really liked was creating personal catchphrases. Like, instead of just always saying a boring okay, find your own go-to lines. Things like, sounds like a plan, or maybe, all right, let's roll.
Yeah, it helps you build a bit of an English personality. It makes the language feel like it's actually yours. Fluency is so tied up with confidence, with identity. This helps build that. Okay, so as we kind of move towards wrapping up, we should probably touch on a few common traps. Mistakes are fine, they're how we learn, but knowing the frequent ones can help you spot them faster.
Yeah, good point. The biggest one's got to be mixing up verb tenses, right? Like saying, I go to the store yesterday. Nope. Past action needs a past tense. I went to the store yesterday.
It's a classic. Another one is getting the word order wrong in questions.
Mm,
Learners often use the statement structure, you are coming. But standard English needs that little flip, are you coming?
right. The auxiliary verb comes first.
Hmm. And finally, watch out for those pesky prepositions. So
Mm.
many people say good in English. It should be good at English. Small word, big difference in sounding natural.
Okay, so if we boil all this down, the contractions, the body language, the silent practice, avoiding those traps, what's the core message for daily
You
practice?
speak every single day. Even if it's just talking to yourself with that voice recorder,
Hmm.
make it a habit. Shadowing is great too, copying native speakers to catch the rhythm and intonation. And maybe most importantly, don't let the fear of mistakes paralyze you. Seriously, they're just feedback. They show you where to focus next.
You know, we started this whole deep dive talking about Ravi, who knew all the rules but couldn't speak, moving from that kind of textbook knowledge to real, authentic flow. It really is a huge shift in mindset, isn't it? Remembering that confidence, just feeling comfortable trying, is often just as important as getting every single grammar point right.
Absolutely. Learning a language, it's it's less like studying for a math test and maybe more like, I don't know, planting a tree. It needs a
Yeah.
bit of time, consistent care, daily practice. And then one day you just look up and realize, hey, I'm communicating comfortably, freely.
Right. So here's a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Stop thinking about English as just a subject you study, like history or biology. Start seeing it as your new voice. So, what's one tiny everyday thing you can do today? Maybe try that silent conversation while you're waiting for your coffee to start shifting your identity. Moving from being an English student to becoming an English speaker. Go out there, start talking, make those mistakes, and just keep growing.